Perfect. All right, so I was watching the last couple of videos and I realized that I start every video with saying, all right guys, so welcome back to another loading video. So let's get into it. We're gonna load the 9mm 147 grain. So this is a Hi-Tek coated bullet. It's a flat point bullet. So this one was another one that was requested by you guys, so we wanted to add it in there. So the first powder we're gonna test is tight group, and we're gonna start with 2.5 grains, then go to 2.6, and then all the way at 2.8. So that one is a little bit interesting looking right off the bat, with the very minimal amount of jump in powder charge from the bottom to the max load. Then the next one is power pistol, and we're starting at 4.1 grains and then moving to 4.4 grains, and then we're at 4.6 grains of powder to finish that one. Then we're going to continue with the HS6. We used this one on the last 9mm. That was the 125 grain. Go check out that video if you haven't seen that one. So we're starting at 4.4 grains, then going to go to 4.7 and finishing at 5 grains of powder there. And now for the last one, this is the one I'm going to say I think is going to do the best. Hopefully it has quite a bit of powder in the casing. It's going to be accurate number 7. So that's 6.3 grains of powder starting at there. Then we're going to go to 6.7, and then we're finishing at 7.1 grains of powder. And with this 147 grain bullet, that's going to be, I think, a compressed load at max powder charge there. So again, this is the Federal Indoor Range brass. We got the CCI primer in there. And I did process this brass on the Dillon 650 back here. Like I said in the 125 video, this thing makes it super easy, feeds it all in there. Every stroke is one case done. So, and that's belled, sized, deprimed, sized, and primed, and then belled. So just like the 125s, this is a taper crimp as well. Like always, I know I always say it, but we want to make sure we keep it along with you guys. We are seating and crimping in 2 different spots, and with the lead, you want to do that because that way you do not smush the lead and scrape the lead as you're seating the bullet and crimping in the same station. So that way we do that in 2 different ones. So let's get into it. Let's do some loading, and then we'll meet you guys out on the range. All right, so now we're out on the range. So we just took these 9mm 147 grains, and we're gonna shoot them up with our 4 different powders that we selected and with our 3 different step loads, 10 rounds each. So let's shoot them up, and then we'll meet you guys inside and we'll go through all the nitty gritty and all the data. So guys, we're off the range and we're into the shop here, and we're going to talk about all the data that we just collected out on the range when we shot these different powders. So with the powders, again, we did tight group, power pistol, number 7, so that's accurate number 7, and then Hodgkin HS6. Those were our 4 powder charges. And we know that there are lots of other choices out there, and just for time's sake and what we had chosen, these are just 4 powders that we knew that are kind of available out there, and so we just chose those. Not saying that we might not come back around and do another load data video on this specific bullet or other bullets that we have done doing twice, but we'll just choose different powders. So for right now, this is with these 4 powders, and that's tight group, power pistol, accurate number 7, and then HS6. So let's get into it. So the first one that we shot was the Hodgkin tight group. So with 2.5 grains we started, and then we went to 2.6 and then 2.8. So not a very big jump there in grain from your minimum load to your maximum load, but the velocities actually surprised me on the jump from that. So obviously the average speed for the 2.5 grains was 776 feet per second, and then our average speed for our 2.8 grains of powder was at 848 feet per second. This powder was nice, but honestly it was almost too slow in my opinion. It seemed like it was cycling the gun. We didn't have any issues cycling the gun. That was out of the SIG 320, the X5 Legion. Didn't have any issues with any of these powders for cycling the gun wise, but it seemed very slow, and we definitely noticed that on this powder and another one that I'll get into after a few. But with the tight group sizes were good. Our standard deviations were even better. I was really happy with those, which was to me surprising with how little amount of powder was in that case. But with the 147 grain bullet, obviously it is a larger bullet, so we are pushing it down into the farther into the case there. So that could help there too. But SDs were great, 11.3 feet per second, 25.4, and then another 10.3 feet per second. Those are great SDs, and that's really what we like to see. So this was our number 2 pick for powder. And the next powder was our number 1 pick, and that is Power Pistol. This one honestly surprised me a little bit. The SDs were higher than what I would like to see, but the group sizes were pretty good. So started at 4.1 grains of powder, then went to 4.4, and then finished at 4.6 grains of powder. So our best group size was a 0.655 inch group, and I'm really happy with that. Another one was 0.922, and then the last one, or the other one, was 1.279. That one's not the best, but I think there's a little bit of human error in that one specifically. So I started at a little bit faster. This one felt good. It was a good mixture of speed but not too much recoil, and that's kind of why I think this was my personal favorite pick out of the 4. It was a very good happy medium. Started at 940 feet per second on average for our lowest charge, and then for our highest charge was just over 1,000 feet per second at 1,017 feet per second for our average. That was my number 1 favorite for all the reasons I just listed. So Power Pistol is my number 1 pick. Tight Group is number 2. Now we're going to move on to our 4th pick, and this one, I was thinking it was going to be my number 1 pick, but it turns out it wasn't. So accurate number 7. Started out at 6.3 grains, then went to 6.7 grains, and finished at 7.1. So out of the other powders, this is significantly a lot more powder, but accurate number 7 is very, very fine. Super fine powder, so it's not nearly as fluffy as something like Tight Group or even Power Pistol. So I was surprised by that. I thought it was going to fill up more of the case, but it really didn't as much as the other ones. They're pretty similar, even though there's that much more powder in there. It's just super fine. So this one was pretty surprising on group sizes, and maybe this gun just didn't like that specifically, but at 6.3 grains we had a 1.023 inch group, and that was our best group out of all of them. At 6.7 grains we were at a 1.206 inch group, and then at 7.1 grains 1.156. So again, I think there's some human error in there, but it definitely seems to be the trend that there's a little bit larger groups with that powder, and that's the accurate number 7. For velocities, a little bit quicker. Average was 998 feet per second on the lowest load, and on the top side of the load we were at 1,115 feet per second on average. So a little bit more speed. It was our fastest powder out of the 4 selections, and maybe it was just a little too much speed for us. So moving on to our 3rd choice of powder out of the 4, and this was our last powder that we had tested, which was Hodgkin HS6. So we started at 4.4 grains, moved to 4.7, finished at 5, and our best group was a 0.952. Pretty good group. I like that. I would like to see smaller. I'm always trying to shoot bug holes, but obviously we can't do that every time, right? So for standard deviations was good. As we got more powder, we got a better SD, which is nice to see. So at 4.4 grains, we were running at 830 feet per second with a 33.5 standard SD. That's 10-shot SD. And then at 4.7 grains, we were at an average of 895 feet per second with a 23.2 feet per second standard deviation. And then at the last charge, which was 5 grains, this is at 940 feet per second on average with an 11.4 feet per second. So honestly, it was a really tough pick between Tight Group and HS6, which one was going to take second and which one was going to take third. And I think the Tight Group took it just a tiny little bit just because of the speed. It was a little bit more comfortable for recoil than the HS6. The HS6 was a hair bit more faster.
And so I think obviously with speed, you're gonna get a little bit more recoil. But so power pistol was our number 1. Number 2 was tight group. Number 3 was the HS6, and then our last one was accurate, number 7. And not saying that one of these powders might work a little bit better in your pistol. So we do recommend you guys giving them a shot. We like just making these videos to give you guys kind of a baseline to go off of. And this is for the 9mm 147 grain Hi-Tek coated bullet by us. So we really appreciate you guys watching the video. Go check out the other videos on our page here. We have some other different load data videos about like the 158, 38 cal, the 105, 38 cal, also some of our 45 ACPs, and we also have another 9mm one. So we are really grateful for you guys subscribing and watching our YouTube videos. So stay tuned for our next one. We'll see you guys next Friday for another load data video.